For those of you that know me, you know that I'm a stats guy. I'm a real estate guy. I love real estate. And if I can bring stats and real estate together, I can start to make some predictions that I think are grounded in fact. And today I'm going to make some predictions about what 2021's likely to look like. But before I do that, let's take a look back at some of the predictions that I made last year and see if they came true or not. So the first I want to show you is a clip from April 13th of my Market Monday. And I'm talking in this clip about inventory and how incredible the inventory situation is at the height of the pandemic. So the fact that inventory is staying low despite what's going on, we're not seeing this wave of inventory rush to market. And on the other side of this, that is going to be the piece that saves our real estate market, is that we're maintaining a low inventory level throughout this entire pandemic. This is truly great news. And I talk about that because I understand that inventory is our most important statistic. Most people think that markets rise and fall on demand, and to a certain extent they do, but the underlying factor is the inventory. All right, so we've established that inventory is really important. Now I want you to take a look at a clip that comes a couple weeks later on May 4th. This is going to drive property values up. Property values are gonna go up. And we've seen a 6.7% increase in property values so far this year. We'll talk about that later, but I expect that trend to continue. I think that 2020 is going to be one of the best appreciation years that we've had since the Great Recession. All right, so this last clip comes to us from early May. And during this time, I remember I was talking to a lot of people, social media, friends of mine. There was a lot of talk about a big recession coming. And I just didn't see it. And I didn't see it because I was looking at the fundamentals of the market, the fundamentals being supply and demand. Always starts with supply. Demand is a factor, but it always starts with supply. And this was a conversation that Bland and I had on the porch about what I saw the recovery looking like. I think the timing of this thing is going to be, we're coming down. I think the bottom of the check mark, I'm calling it a check mark, the bottom of the check mark was maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And it was all driven by people didn't know what the outcome of this thing was going to be. And we hit that bottom and we bounced. And I think we're gonna bounce up through about June, maybe early July. And I think it's gonna flatten out because I think there's gonna be a lot of focus that happens when the kids start to go back to school. But come late September and early October, we're gonna see another really big spike. And that's gonna be the really big one that gets us back above where we were in 2005. Yeah. I still think that this is the year. Now, there's one thing that I got wrong in that prediction. I talked about the kids going back to school. We never saw that dip where the kids went back to school because the kids never went back to school. Our market remained strong from the moment that I shot this video with Bland until I sit here with you today. So next, I'm gonna give you my predictions for 2021. But before I do, if any of this information is a surprise to you, well, I know that you haven't been following along with Market Mondays. So do yourself and do us a favor. Make sure you follow us at the Prodome Team, and you can always watch the full-length videos at theprodometeam.com. So 2021, looking into the crystal ball. Well, the one thing that we know is that inventory remains spectacularly low. Like, I've never seen inventory this low. There is 3 months supply of inventory for Hilton Head Island. I've never seen that. That is lower than before the Great Recession in 2004 and 2005. So I know inventory. We know it's low. We know that that's the foundation for appreciation. On top of that, demand remains really high. Here's the question. Is there enough supply on the sidelines, waiting in the wings to come onto the market to satisfy the demand? When I look at the numbers last year, early on in some of these videos that you've looked at, we're talking about a substantial undersupply worth of inventory in February and March. Well, when activity took off in May and June and July and the market just caught fire, the good news was we had a lot of, let's call it shadow inventory that had been sitting on the sidelines. And that inventory had been sitting on the sidelines since 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. Those were people that when we met with them in 2009 and 2010, and we showed them how much value their property had lost since 2005, many of those people decided, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and I'm going to wait. I don't think those people realized that they were going to be waiting 10 or 11 years, but nonetheless, they decided to wait. I think we saw a significant portion of that shadow inventory come onto the market in the last 6 or 8 months and be consumed by all of these buyers that are in our marketplace. The real question is there more shadow inventory out there? I think there's some. And this is going to be a critical piece in our market sustaining. If we cannot manufacture enough property, enough inventory for the consumers to buy, they're going to start going other places and other markets are going to catch fire. So that's one thing that we're going to be paying close attention to week in, week out, seeing if we can maintain some sort of a balance between supply and demand. So what do I think is going to happen? I think the market is going to remain really, really, really strong. I think there is still significant shadow inventory out there. I think we're going to start to see more and more investors move into the market, put their money to work. The stock market's been on a great run in years past. We've seen people pull some profits out of the stock market and invest it in real estate. I think we should see that happen this year. And I think that there's a significant amount of sellers out there that are ready to cash in. The market's appreciated enough that there were still a lot of people that were in negative equity situations on their property, and the amount of appreciation we've had now, those people are out of those negative equity situations. So the prediction for 2021, the market remains super strong. I think we're going to see appreciation north of 15% maybe after a year that we had 23, 24%. And I see our market continuing on this very healthy trajectory, not just for 21, but into 22 as well. Like our inventory situation is so positive right now if you're a seller that it's not going to be able to be turned around in a year or 18 months. This is a long-term shift in the popularity of our marketplace. If you're a buyer, the best advice I can give you is be ready to buy. So, if you get a loan, get all of your mortgage paperwork done, get it pre-approved for your loan, be ready to go, because when that right property comes on the market, it's probably going to have multiple offers and you're going to need to act quickly. So connect with a real estate agent that you can really trust, that you can get good advice. Don't shy away from FaceTime or Skype showings on properties, and be ready to move. So you're a seller, you're listening to this information and you're deciding, should I sell now or should I listen to Dan and wait 12 months and potentially sell for 15% more? Here's what I would ask you. How comfortable are you waiting? Because that's really what we're talking about. With the wait comes the risk. There's a reward that it could go up 15%, but anything could happen in the economy, not just the United States economy or the local Hilton Head economy, but the world economy. We could get, God forbid, a hurricane this year. Like, you just never know what's gonna happen. And the one thing that I can tell you is right now, if you're a seller, there may not be a better time to sell than right now. There is no inventory, and there are buyers on the sidelines with money burning a hole in their pocket, ready to go. It's as sure of a bet as real estate could be if you're a seller. So I'm Dan with Carolina Realty Group. We're gonna be updating you all year long. If something changes in the market and you subscribe to us, you'll be the first to know. Lastly, if you have any questions or comments about what we talked about today, just put them in the comments below. Thank you.